part of your thing.
That's part of my thing.
There we go. Breaking the rules.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Great job on the panel.
Thank you.
I'm a minority, but I love Ant-Man Quantumania.
You're not a minority.
I'm not a minority.
I got so much crap online for loving it. It's cool. I love the compose he did for a world we haven't seen in the MCU.
Yeah. Well, that was something that director Peyton Reed had clued me into before I ever saw the cut. He called me. We had a couple conversations. He's like, "This is going to feel bigger than the other ones." He got me started thinking about a theme for Kang, which is obviously something that the nature of the character of Kang is he's going to be different in every movie from a different. It's a different version of Kang. Where normally we would try to establish that continuity and that connection musically between different Marvel projects, here's an opportunity to establish a theme for this version of Kang. It's different from the one from Loki. So I knew that was on my plate as well. The fun of taking really every major character theme that had been introduced in the first two movies and finding ways to present them in a way that fits the epic scale of what we're seeing in Quantumania that we hadn't seen.
As a composer, you have worked on different range of film and TV show. How do you approach each project to create a distinct and memorable musical identity?
As I said on the panel, or maybe I said it here, it's character. It's what's the inherent quality of each character. I think sometimes it's about what the superpower is of each character. I mean, the thing that I love about the Ant-Man theme is that it's big and small, right? That the whole idea is the anatomy of what the superhero is built into the music. And I mean, I think that comes very much out of, John Williams, where, Superman leaves. So you've got these leaves. So these are the things I think about, like what literally are the superpowers, and then how can you reflect them musically? What's the translation of those superpowers in the music? See, I know this.
So with the having worked on Miss Marvel, which is amazing, and then onto the Marvels, I don't know if you can answer this, but she has certain themes in the series, in the show.
Yes.
Are we going to see some of those themes in the film, along with the other characters' themes from their other movies? No, we got to answer that because it's not.
I'm not going to answer that.
Okay. All right, that's fine.
I'm not going to answer. I'd love to, but I can't.
Okay, got it.
Talk about working on Miss Marvel.
I can talk about working on Miss Marvel. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about that then.
Okay.
For Miss Marvel, set in India and Pakistan. In the clip they showed and the series, there are different elements from that.
Right.
Were you familiar with music from that part of the world, or how did you get familiar with that world and incorporate some of the themes, everything from the instruments to the choral?
Yeah, I mean, I was familiar with it because I'd done a bunch of South Asian projects, and I'd actually collaborated with Sharmeen Obianchinoy, who was the director of episodes 4 and 5, which are the episodes that took place in Pakistan. But, South Asian music is a massive musical tradition. It's like classical music, a Western classical music. So you can't go in there as a tourist. So I collaborated with people. And Sana Amanat, who's the showrunner for Ms. Marvel, and in fact is Ms. Marvel, she wrote the comic, she created the character. She had some suggestions, and one of the really key ones was a violinist named Raginder, a Pakistani violinist. So he's playing a lot of the score. I worked with about 10 South Asian musicians who were in India and Pakistan, and then we recorded, multiple voices here also in LA, which we put together a South Asian choir. But in addition to that, we had a big orchestra. For Kamala Khan, I mean, she's not only South Asian, but she's a teenager from New Jersey, and she's also a a Marvel superhero. So the challenge of that one was really trying to figure out how you can have these three elements and how they can work together musically and kind of move in and out.
And the backstory episode with the parents is so epic by itself.
Yeah.
With its own story.
It's like Gandhi. It's like a 3-hour movie packed.
Exactly. And the score totally like matched and fit. Like,
Thank
can
you.
Talk about that episode.
I had 5 days.
Wow. Wait, what?
Yeah, I had 5 days. I had no time. And it like
It's so epic though.
no, with Ms. Marvel, literally we were recording every week. It was crazy, and it was hard. And because of course the partition of India, it was the biggest migration of humans in the history of all humanity. And it's a story that people don't know, which is
I had no
Yeah, I had no idea.
well, it's I was thinking about that scene. Of course, we have seen all kinds of trains moving people in terms of World War II, but we haven't, at least a lot of Western people haven't seen it in terms of this particular context, and it's so urgent, it's so important, it's so much a part of the story of the world, and so it was really, it was very, very important to me to get it right. And so I held hands with Sana, and Charmine, and we kind of, we got through it together, and we talked through it and figured out really what was right and how we could tell this incredible, beautiful story. And I think it's the first time that actual history has been brought into the MCU, and so we all felt like it was a huge platform to be able to tell a story that was really important to all people.
Yeah, I talked to my South Asian friends every episode as the show came out, and I was like, I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
And they're like, we don't usually talk about that. It's totally nailing it.
Apparently every South Asian family has a partition story. And it's a big one, and it's I did the score for Lovecraft Country, and episode 9 of Lovecraft Country, which tells the story of the Tulsa Massacre, felt very similar to me because it was like these stories that everybody should know but have been buried in a lot of the history that we know here in this country. So anyway, it feels like a calling to be able to tell those stories.
Thank you for doing that.
Sure.
Hi, Laura. Swara with But Why Though. Your music in Miss Marvel was great. I especially love what you mentioned about Kamala as a teenager, and how did you try to incorporate themes like that are, on a lighter topic? Yeah.
I mean, just bouncy electronics, just like what, it's been a few years since I've been a high school girl, but I do have people around me. No, it's just, there are 3 kinds of music in that show. There's the superhero stuff, there's the, that fused with South Asian elements, and then there's just a bouncy teen, and that's who she is. I mean, she's as effervescent and bouncy as they get. She's great. Don't you love her?
Yeah, Iman Vellani does such a great job.
She kills it. Yeah. I love her. Well, she's great. I'll tell you this. She's great in the Marvels.
That's what you can say.
There we go.
Yeah.
That I can say. She's great.
Awesome.
So really quickly, what do each of you want to work on that you are afraid you'll never get to?
Well, I'm not afraid I'll never get to anything.
Okay, that's good. That's a good answer.
Fear. I've never worked on a horror movie. I think the palette available for
It's up my alley. I like that. Okay.
the palette for that kind of
Very different.
genre, it seems like it's kind of wide open, and it really invites experimentation. I know for me, it would be an opportunity to write a type of music I've never written before. It would be really fun.
Okay. How about you?
I've waited a long time to do a big movie like the Marvels. I waited for a long time, and it was, I have recorded some of the score. It was the best week or 10 days of my life. I want to do it again.
Okay.
What was it like working with director Nia DaCosta?
Genius. She's great. I mean, all of the people, Kevin, Nia, Sana, these are all fantastic. Brian Andrews of What If, Brad Winterbaum, these are all phenomenal. Don't you? I mean, they're all phenomenal collaborators. They're the top of the top of people that you work with. You know, they're in my top 20, top 10 maybe. Smart, they love music, and they push you to do your best. Yeah.
And just following up on that, you know, none of these film series would exist without the amazing actors and writers who pour their heart and soul into it. Isha K. Ali, for example, for the Marvels, several writers for Miss Marvel, several writers for the Marvels. So, is there any? And they're currently striking, you know, for their basic fundamentals that they need in their business. Is there anything that either of you can comment on the strikes right now? How you hope it may be resolved and such?
I can't comment on how I think or hope that they will be resolved. What I do see is, for sure, a rapidly changing business model. I think we composers, you know, I heard AI generated songs in the style of famous artists not long ago that surprised me. The composers don't have the protection that the writers do. I wish we did. I don't think it will happen when we need it, but it feels like that is the business model has been changing so much. It's only going to change faster, and I'm grateful to be in it right now, where there is still work, and I just hope it continues. Yeah.
I mean, I agree with everything Chris said. We stand with talent. You know, these are our friends and our colleagues. I think that, you know, we tried to form a union a number of years ago. We tried to join with the Teamsters. We were ruled ineligible by the NLRB because we're independent contract. They perceived us as independent contractors because of the package deal. We have no protections. We have no harassment policies. We have no retirement. We have no health care. So I think that also what we're seeing is the vulnerability of the ecosystem that we work within. You know, we are all a part of a community, and when one leg is not working, we're all limping. And I think you're going to start to see, the longer this goes, restaurants closing, you know, people getting laid off. I mean, really a huge economic problem for all of us. And I have a lot of colleagues now who aren't working. My agent called me the other day about something. He said, I think this is the one business call I'm going to make today. So I think that we're finishing up the work that we have on our plates, but I think ask us again in 3 months, and let's talk about where we're at.
Inshallah, it's resolved. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Sure.